Hey guys, today is Friday. It's a brand new day and a brand new morning with brand new mercies. And this morning I have an opportunity to talk to my friend Asanda. She's from South Africa. And I'm just checking in to see how she's doing with the great pause, the shelter in place down in her neck of the woods. Hold on for just a second and let me bring my beautiful guest in to join us. One second, let's figure this out. We're just gonna wait for a few minutes. Hello there.
Hi,
How
hi,
are you?
hi.
I'm just
I'm
trying,
well, thank you, my sister. How are you doing?
I'm just trying to figure all of this out still. It's crazy.
That's
How are you?
that's all right. I'm well. I'm very well. I'm very blessed and I'm very grateful.
Me too.
Um, I think about my family.
Yeah. So I just really wanted to talk to you this morning. It's so interesting because I don't even remember how we met. I was thinking back about how we met, and I'm thinking it was because of a Mind Valley speech that Lisa Nichols was doing, and I saw one of your talks. I think that's how we met. What do you say?
Yes, yes, I think so too. I'm not 100% certain, but I know that that's where we met on
Okay.
that Mind Valley. You can inspire for it. Yes, I'm
So
certain that's how we met.
so then it was online because it wasn't an event that we both attended. It was just online.
Yes, it was.
Okay, so
It was online.
I'm going to share our conversation with my Sold Out Saturday community, but I just wanted to ask you a few questions before I dive into the um, I guess the mandate, the shutdown, the shelter in place. But I wanted to give you an opportunity to tell us a little bit about yourself first.
Yeah, so my name is Asanda Mahlukani. I'm from Cape Town in South Africa.
Mhm.
I am a mother of three wonderful human beings. My eldest one is 13 years old. That's my daughter,
Mhm.
and then I have a 10-year-old son, and then a 3-year-old son. I was born and bred in a township here, which is, I think it's here for you guys in America, a township called Nyanga in Cape
Mhm.
Town. So this township is notorious for being the most violent township in South Africa.
Wow.
Statistically, it's got the highest amount of violent crime. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So for many, many years running, that is the case. Yeah. Now, someone once asked me, because they were asked, we were in a youth workshop, and they asked me, so what are the challenges in your community? And I was
Mhm.
still a teenager at the time. And I then proceeded to explain, well, we've got violent crimes, um, teenage pregnancy, there's gangsterism, there's drug usage, all these terrible things that you can think of, all these challenges, poverty,
Mhm.
unemployment. And he thought for a moment and he said, oh, that sounds really tough. Can you tell me what is the one thing that you can say is good about your community? Is there anything good about your
Wow.
community at all that's going
Yeah.
on right now?
Mhm.
And without even thinking about it, it just came to mind that, well, we can always go to the next door neighbor if we haven't got food. We can literally go there and knock and say, hey, we've got nothing to eat. Or hey, can we have a cup of sugar? Do you have oil? So there is still that sense of community amongst us.
Yeah.
Even though, we've got all these challenges, we can still rely on one another to survive, because we're all really in the same boat. We all, the challenges that the neighbor faces are the same challenges that my mother would face. And, so we're all the same in that sense. So even though it really is a very, very tough community to grow up in
Mm-hmm.
with all its challenges,
Yeah.
it's got some good things. It's got some good things about it. So that's me. I was raised by three amazing women: my
Mm-hmm.
grandmother, my late grandmother, my mom, as well as my aunt.
Wow.
So I learned so much from these three women. These women were my pillars. My father left when I was only 5 years old. Unfortunately, my father was an alcoholic, very abusive alcoholic, abusive especially to our mom. And I was raised in a household with my aunt and her children, with my mom and her children. So I'm the eldest of three.
Whoa.
I've got a younger sister and a younger brother. My brother's only 16 years old. So yes, I grew up in that big family with so many people. There were 15 or even more people in the house. It's only a three-bedroom house.
Mm-hmm.
We're sleeping on the floor. You sleeping. It was a beautiful, beautiful upbringing with loads and loads of challenges. But it was good. It was healthy. My grandmother held us all together. So yeah, in a
That's
nutshell, that
huge.
was me.
I love your story. I love your story because no matter what was going on around you and in your country, you were able to still find the good and the hope. And there were people around you that were still good people. I mean, like the neighbors that you could still go to and, borrow a cup of sugar. And those was like the older days. So that's really huge. And then you spoke about the three strong women that raised you, which to me it says it shaped who you are right now. That beautiful, beautiful spirit that I know. I don't know. I think, it's not an accident that we met. And because of who you are, and because of the timing of it all, I think God allowed us to meet. So I'm grateful to have you, just to speak with you way out in South Africa. That's huge for me. And your smile, your smile just brightens up the day, that day. So thank you so much for
Thank
sharing
you. Thank you.
just a part of your story. And also, what I'm thinking about as I listen to you tell your story is, you know, we can look at the circumstances around us and kind of get caught up in what's going on around us. So you also had a choice. You could go out there and just make your way, or you could stay under the guidance of these three strong, beautiful women that raised you. So that's kind of an interesting backstory. And I believe that it also strengthened you for what we're going through right now. The COVID, the kind of coronavirus is huge, right? How does it affect you
Yeah.
in South Africa right now? What are your guys' restrictions down there? Are they similar or different? What are you experiencing down there?
Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor and a privilege to be on this show with you.
Right.
I am speaking to people not only from South Africa, I'm speaking to people in America, and I'm so grateful that we met, and I'm grateful and honored that you even chose me to be on this show with you today. Okay, now regarding the COVID-19, things are really tough here. I'll be honest, things are really tough. So on the 27th of March, our president said that we needed to stay indoors. We only go out to buy groceries and really essential things.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't buy clothes and, non-essential items. We're not
Right.
allowed to buy. And also, people who are working for, let's say, the municipality like I do, people who aren't providing essential services to the country, then must also stay home. And that's why I've been home since. Also in the townships, because I mean, there's a big difference. I'm lucky enough now to be staying in a beautiful leafy, suburb, and it's very quiet. It's up on the mountains. It's next to the ocean. So I'm really privileged. But
Mm-hmm.
my family, my mom, my sister, my brother, my aunt, everyone else is in the township. They're still in Nyanga. And things are a little bit different there. We've got the police and the army patrolling the streets to
Wow.
make sure that people are staying at home.
Wow.
Yes, and there's they are actually they are forcing people to stay inside. If they catch you outside,
Mm-hmm.
they will fight. In the sense that they will physically assault you.
Whoa.
They even have they little weapons. No, seriously. So they literally hitting people and telling them to go home, like without even asking them why are you outside or anything
Right.
like that. They literally just it's quite barbaric, but that's what's happening in the townships at the moment.
And
And if you are caught maybe driving along, if you don't have a permit, if you don't have a work permit, then they fine you or you get 6 months in jail or both.
wow. That's
So our
very
government is
interesting.
quite serious. Quite serious.
That's
Yeah. So
that's
that's what's happening now.
that's so interesting. And it's very, I'm gonna say scary, just to hear. So I can't even imagine what your family is going through, and you can't even go there and visit them. They've threatened here in the States, they've threatened to have the military come in. I mean, I don't know how real the threat is, but we hear about it through social media, and because that once someone hears something, it's just being blasted across social media, so we don't really know what's the truth sometimes and what's just not so true, right? So it's just really interesting to hear that that's the point to where the township is at right now. um, that being said, how are you able to speak to your mom, your parents, your mother, and your siblings? Can you phone them?
Yes. Yes. So we speak on the phone very often. I phoned my mom today to check up on them and see if they're still healthy, how are things going. So yes, we are able to get in touch. I'm able to phone them. They can phone me. Yeah, but unfortunately, because I would see them every single weekend. Every weekend, I make a point of going to see my mom, making sure she's okay. So it's not easy, but at least I'm able to check up on them every day to make sure that they're still okay.
How far are they away from you?
They are about a 50-minute drive, like it's a 50-minute drive, yeah, I would say, to an hour's drive.
Wow.
So I don't know how much that is in kilometers, but yeah,
Wow.
it takes about an hour for me to get there and back.
Okay. That's, I know you've heard of San Francisco, right? Have you heard of San Francisco?
Yeah,
Okay, so that's
I know that they say it's always warm.
not in San Francisco. It's always cold. But that's about an hour away from where I'm
Oh,
at. So it's about an hour's drive from me. So I understand the distance. Now, what about the food? What about food? I mean, as far as your parents or your mom being able to go out, is she able to go out for food with all the controls and the restrictions there?
yes, they are. Yes, they are, provided that they go at certain times. So if it gets dark, if it starts getting dark, let's say at around 6 p.m., then they really start being serious about patrolling and just punishing anyone that they see out on the street. So during the day, in the mornings, because I did ask my mom about that, are you guys able to go and buy food? And she's like, no, we are. Like, we do go and we can get some food. So it's only, it's around certain hours that they do not want to see anyone walking out on the street because they understand that all the shops are now closed. So no one should really be out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, well, at least they have that opportunity during the daytime, and I would imagine, just like here, that once nighttime hits, people are desperate. They're fighting over toilet paper, for example, here in the state, and water. It was hard to come by water and the toiletries here in the state. So it's gotten a little bit better. I think people have calmed down, but they say it's kind of like the calm before the storm for us right now. So that's kind of interesting. But I understand that at night, there's looting and all kinds of things going on, usually at night. So get what you need. At least there's that opportunity to get what you need during the daytime, and then buckle down at night, right? So you're in a different part of the South Africa. So how is it where you are versus where your mom is? Are the restrictions as tight?
No, not at all. There's a big, big difference. Oh, yes, there is. Because even though people are not allowed to walk their dogs, they're not allowed to be jogging, they're not allowed to just go out even at night. I see a few people jogging. I saw a lady yesterday walking her two dogs. So people are driving around. People are more free.
Yeah.
Because we could go down to the garage if we want to at night. Like, there aren't any soldiers patrolling here. There's no military here. There never has been.
Wow.
So there's really a huge difference. We are free. Here we are free. We don't have to worry. We can go anytime we want to go to the shop. We can go get food at midnight if we want to.
Okay.
At the garage, at the petrol station. And that's not the case for them, unfortunately. As soon as the sun goes down, they're not free to go anywhere.
Wow. That's so interesting how it's different from there and from here and even from where you are, an hour's drive away from where you are. As far as here, my husband and I were walking around the park yesterday, and there's signs posted that says the park is closed, but they're saying we can go out and for a walk and have fresh air and stay at home, but go out and get some sun and exercise, but don't linger, still stay 6 feet from someone else. Is that rule there, the 6 feet distance, is that in play there where you are?
Well, yes, it is. Yes, it is. So the walking around, the going for walks and exercising and all of that, we do it, but according to our president, we're not supposed to be doing it. Now, when it comes to, at the shops and then the rule does apply. They've even got like red tape on the floor to show us if we're standing in line to pay. Then yes, you stand behind the red tape, the distance. So yes, we do have that, but unfortunately, we're not really permitted to be running or walking.
It's not as strict yet. There's no military army patrolling, and that's similar to here. So there's tape. Stay this far from the person in front of you or behind you, so that we're experiencing that too. Yeah. So Asanda, you have children in the house with you. How's that working with the shelter in place?
Oh boy, it's hard. Oh my God. my children, from the eldest one, from the 13-year-old to the 3-year-old, they're very hard to control. And my children will always ask why. And I'm
Yeah.
to blame for that.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't just do as people tell you to do. You're free to ask why. You should always ask questions. So
Mhm.
now that doesn't work so well for me at the moment. Why, Mom? What's in it for me? Oh, so if I do the chore, what am I gonna get? So it's always like constantly bargaining with me. They're always negotiating, and but for the most part, it's good because it's given me time to really connect with my children, to get to know them, and for them to get to know me too. There's
Yeah.
no rush. We're not
Yes.
rushing to get to school. We're not rushing to get the homework done and then supper and then part time and then bedtime. There isn't that routine. So we've
Mhm.
got time to talk. We've got time to connect.
Yeah.
They swim in the pool. They draw. We bake together. We watch movies
Mhm.
together. So it's really good. I mean, for the most part, I can never get them to do what I ask them to do unless there's something in it for them.
Right.
So I'm I'm learning the negotiation. I'm learning to win. I'm learning to win when it comes to the negotiations. But for the
Mhm.
most part, it's amazing. My children love to pray. Now, before the restrictions, they love going to church,
Mhm.
especially the church that my mom goes to. So at the weekends, we're usually on that side,
Mhm.
and they want to go to church with my mom. They want to be in the choir and sing and all of that. So I have raised them. Oh, they love singing. They love being in their youth choir. So I have
That's
raised them the way that
awesome.
my mom and my grandmother did when it comes. Thank you. So when it comes to praying and when it comes to knowing about God, about why we're here, so
Mhm.
they never forget to pray.
Mm.
Do that usually at night just before we sleep. And they are amazing. I mean, I'll be honest, some days I'm just so tired. I'm thinking, and I'm sometimes really upset with them for some other reason because they didn't do the chores or whatever. And I'm like, okay, good night. I'm going to switch off the lights. And they're like, Mom, we haven't prayed. Can we pray this? They are amazing. I want
That
to
is
pray. Oh,
so
they are
awesome.
amazing. And they do the same.
That's awesome. I mean,
I know.
because that's
They
awesome.
are in control.
Yeah, and I think the other day when you and I chatted really quick, really early in the morning, I think it was 3 o'clock, three something my time, and it was noon at your time, and you were like still resting. Like, I haven't gotten up for the day, but my kids are around
Yeah.
praying. I thought that was so powerful. All we have to do is teach them to pray because God is always listening. So that is powerful. I was going to ask you how was your faith holding up in this shelter in place? But I understand that you have children that are praying with you guys on their own. That's how their faith is holding up. And then an opportunity to bond with your children. And how you said, okay, my children, they're just running wild. They get to do anything they want. And now that we have this shelter in place, you can kind of restructure, okay, if you do this, then you don't get that. If you do this, okay, good night. But wait a minute, let's pray. So I love it. So that's beautiful. That's absolutely
My kids.
beautiful. Yeah. So the faith thing is huge. I mean, it's
Thank
so, you
you.
go to church and you hear, keep the faith, you know, oh, it just takes a mustard seed of faith. But at this point in time, it's like we have to rely on prayer and we have to rely on our faith. So that is huge. So other than that, you and your hubby, are you guys getting closer? Is it hard? I mean, because I know we have our challenges, me and my husband. It's like, wait, you're not going to work? You're going to be here all day long, and so am I. What kinds of things do you find yourself doing with your husband that are, intentional now?
I'm lucky enough that he does actually go to work every day, but he works for himself. So most of the work he does here. Yes. I'm like,
Yes.
hallelujah, you have to go to work. Good. So good. So
Yes.
he literally just got home like about half an hour ago. And he works for himself. So he works the first half of his day here at home, and then he goes to work. He usually comes back at around 6 p.m. and then we start the cooking. He loves cooking. So most days he's the one who cooks. So
Here.
nothing much has changed.
Mhm.
But
That's good because you have that break. You have that break in the middle. He's essential then, right? He's an essential person, so he has to go in. So you still have that time to
yes,
yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
yes,
So
yes. It has given, yeah,
I think I'm losing
yes.
you. It feels like I'm losing you. It's like my
Have you got me?
connection might be weak or something. But I'm going to ask you really quick before I leave, lose connection with you. Um, what is your shelter in place go to snack?
Uh, we love fruit. We love fruit. I love bananas. I absolutely love bananas. Um, so what do we love sandwiches as
Hmm.
well.
Hmm.
I try to not give them the bad stuff because I've gone vegetarian. I don't eat any meats
That's
anymore.
right.
So it's challenging. It's a bit challenging to yeah. So I make healthy sandwiches that
Hmm.
don't have any meat in them. I love bananas. I make smoothies now as
Yeah.
well that have protein powder in them.
Hmm.
So yeah, our snack is really fruit. My kids love apples and bananas and strawberries, watermelon.
That's good.
So yes, even though even though my partner does buy the other bad stuff that yeah, like the biscuits and the chips and all of that.
Oh my God, it's been such a challenge for me. It's like, I'm usually when I'm working because I'm telecommuting now, but when I'm working, I'm usually really, really good. I may have a shake, I may have a boiled egg in the morning or just, my coffee or tea, just healthy stuff. I may have carrots, just like little veggies, right? Throughout the day. But being in the house all day long, it's like I have to make a conscious decision to watch what I'm eating, and my husband is also the cook around here who loves to eat. So it's a huge challenge and the balance is real. He loves to
Mm.
cook, he loves it. So I'm like, I don't want all that. He fixes my plate sometimes and it's like, I don't want all that. So yeah, it's choices definitely. I don't want to come out of this and just be 100 pounds, but I'm on my way. It's like, oh my goodness. So,
Yeah,
um, once the restriction has lifted, what is the first thing you plan on doing? The first place you plan on going? What's that very first thing?
I'm going to see my mom,
I
and I'm going to
knew
give her a huge
it.
and my sister and my brother and my
Yeah.
aunt. Oh, I can't wait to see my family. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Like on the day they announced that is the first place I'm running to with my kids, and we're just gonna
Yeah.
celebrate. We're
Yeah.
gonna cook. Yeah, we're gonna.
Who's cooking?
My sister loves to cook. My
That's
sister is a
awesome.
great cook, and I can help her. My
Mhm.
mom, well, not so much. She doesn't
Yeah.
really like cooking. So yeah, my sister and myself will do the cooking and we'll celebrate. I can't wait
Yeah.
to see them.
That's so awesome. So, Asanda, what is the first thing that you will do for yourself? So, just for an example, like, see this? See all this right here? I'm
I
like, oh
love
my
it.
God. And then my
Oh my
nails
goodness.
are so long. And it's like, I can't do my own nails. Like my eyebrows, it's like they're growing in, it's like I can't draw on my what? So what is the first thing that you're going to do self-care for yourself? Once this is said and done, what is that one thing?
Oh, that's easy. Like the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change my braids. I'm gonna do my hair and I'm gonna braid braids on again. I cannot wait. Uh,
That's awesome. It's the little things that we take for granted that we're figuring out now. Okay, wait, this was an essential thing that I do, So, is there any habits that you've been doing before COVID-19 that now that we have this pause, be still, that you won't do when it's all said and done?
oh, that's a good question. It's a very good question. Hmm. Hmm. And I think that this habit um, relates really to people, relates to people. So I'm learning a lot. I love learning. So I'm always on YouTube. I'm always watching, Oprah. I'm watching Yanla. What are they saying now?
Mhm.
I'm watching Glennon, Glennon Doyle. So there's just their teachings currently are about being real, being yourself. The fact that we have been stripped right down, the hair, the nails, everything, the makeup is all
Yes,
gone, and we are now forced to be our real selves, to be
authentic.
what is underneath all of that.
Mhm.
So even the pretenses are stripped down. So the habit that I had was I'm not going to call it lying, but I'm going to call it mm, being polite. I'll call
Mm,
it being polite, but being overly polite
mhm,
in the sense that, like, if someone asks me something or even asks me of my time, instead of me telling them I cannot meet you for lunch, because and give them the real reason why I won't meet them for lunch. I would say,
mhm.
oh, I'm busy with the kids, or I've got something else going on, and now what I'm going to do is to tell them the truth. Of course, I am polite. I was raised in church by my grandmother,
Yeah.
and I will be gentle about it. But I'll tell the truth. I'll tell the
Yeah.
truth. I am someone who was raised to be so polite
Mhm.
that at times it works against me or to my detriment because I'm trying to be respectful. I'm trying to be a good girl.
Mhm. Yeah, I do know.
Exactly. So now, because you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, you
Yes.
don't want to, oh, and then whenever you feel uncomfortable, like, oh, I can't meet you, instead of telling you, um, I like working with you, we are colleagues. However, I don't feel comfortable with meeting you outside of work. I love our relationship here at work, and that's where I'd like for
Mhm.
it to
That's a big
remain.
one.
That would be the honest thing to say, and telling them honestly, right? Instead of saying, oh, sorry, oh, I can't make Saturday. I've got a thing with the kids, and they'll keep asking because you didn't
Yeah,
tell them the
yes,
truth.
yes.
So that's a big one for me. Not being afraid to be myself and to be authentic, to be stripped down, to be
Mhm.
stripped down, not just physically, but to show up as myself
Wow.
unapologetically
Mhm.
and just, yeah, don't apologize for it, and don't make excuses. Just be yourself. Tell the truth without
Mm-hmm.
being rude, but just show up as yourself. So that's the bad habit that I'm gonna kick. I mean, after this, people are gonna see me. They're gonna see the real me.
I
I can
love
still
it.
be the nice girl. Yeah, yeah, that's it.
I love it because in what you just said, I did not even see that coming. I did not even think of it like that. Um, but that is me, you know, quick to please other people, whether I feel like it or not, just being the nice person. So I think that's held me back for so long because I'm used to saying yes to people that I really don't mean to say yes to, um, or doing things or not doing things just because. But what do I want for a change? What do I want? Here's me, and they're going to either love you still or not, but that'll just speak to who you are and who they are and the relationship between you all. So that's huge. That's pretty powerful. Pretty powerful. So we are coming to the end of our time, but I want to ask you really quickly if there is anything that you would like to say from South Africa that we did not talk about or that I did not ask you. Is there anything that you want to say before we go?
I actually did make some notes, but yeah, you basically asked, yeah, most of the things that I've written here, as my notes. Um, but yeah, what I want to say is really for people to use this time, like I said, to to get to know themselves. I mean,
Yeah,
we're getting to know our families better, which is
yeah.
amazing.
Mhm.
But I think the most important thing that we can use our time for at this period is to really, really sit down, get to know ourselves, and strengthen our connection to our Creator.
Go.
And there's this
Woo.
thing that I would hear at church all the time growing up, that that God never leaves you. God never, ever, ever leaves us. Even at the times where we feel like He's not there, when
Oh,
terrible things are happening, people are dying, I lose my job, people are getting sick, all these things, terrible things that will happen in life. And we think, oh, but God, where are you? And I learned that God is always there.
still there.
Sometimes, because of the things that happen and the world that we live in, we forsake Him. We leave God and we rely on other things for strength. We rely on other things for survival. We keep looking out there for something that's probably better. But this time, I am doing my best to use this time to strengthen that connection. And I feel like that's really what faith is. Faith is,
Yeah.
is your direct line. It's your connection. It's your
Mhm.
connection with our Creator. You
Mhm.
connect by prayer. You connect by believing in those things that are unseen. So use that time to connect with yourself, connect with your Creator, and we'll come out of this stronger people, better people for it, as a nation, as the human family.
Mhm.
This can only be good for us. I promise you, it will work out for our greater good
All
at
right,
the end of
good.
the.
You preached, girl. You preached. I didn't even have to. That is
Yeah.
everything. That was all of my thoughts this morning. On my page, which is Sold Out Saturday Story. I know you see me on there. You're one of my friends, and I appreciate you for being there and for encouraging me. I'm that one that kind of like is in the background. So, and I don't want to be preachy, but I want people to know that God is real and that even during this time, I agree with you. I feel like I call this shelter in place the great pause, because it's bigger than you and I. And it's a pause because now we have an opportunity to see who's really in control, you know. And if you've never believed in
Yes.
God before, get to know him for yourself. You know, get to know him for yourself, because there's no more football, there's no more going to the church building. You know, you have your own time to really discover, to really know what you believe. And God, our creator, he's just waiting. He's so patient, but this is the time to pause and figure out who he is for yourself. And that faith is huge, no matter what it looks like and no matter what it feels like. God is still working things out for our good and for his glory. So thank you, thank you,
Oh,
thank you.
absolutely. I love that.
One of these
Thank you,
days,
sister.
one of
I
these
can't
days, we
believe
won't
you're
have
already
to
in
do a
Vegas.
virtual hug, right? We'll meet face to face and in person. But until that time comes, thank
Oh,
you
yeah. I can't wait.
so much. Thank you so much for saying yes to this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been my honor. So have a
Thank
wonderful
you so
day.
much for having me.
Oh my God. Thank you for saying yes. I mean, I've never done the Zoom thing, and then it just came to me early in the morning, like I said, when I reached out to you, and I'm like, wait, Asanda's up? Let me reach out to her. So the little FaceTime that we did was so powerful. And from that, I'm like, let me see if we can do a Zoom, good, bad, or whatever the rules are. I don't know. I just wanted to get you on here face to face to hear your story, to see how your faith is holding up, um, just to hear your story. And it's beautiful. So until we meet face to face, I'll see you, I don't know, in Facebook land, on Mid Valley. Keep texting. And I love you, my dear sister. Keep the faith.
Oh, I love you too. I love you too. Let's keep the faith going strong. I love you,
Definitely.
sister. Take care.
All right. Talk to you soon. All right. Bye.
Talk soon. Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.